Before we introduce our next speaker, last night I actually got an update on some things. I know many of us have been at the committee hearings, and I hear it time and time again. We wrap ourselves in the American flag and the Constitution, and we think that's enough. We think that should speak for itself, which it should, but it doesn't. We clearly see that both at the federal and local, state level. So I've been looking out there not only for cost analysis, but also a litmus test. I said to myself, well, you know what? They want to pass all this stuff here. What's it really going to cost us? And really, does it make any difference? Are you going to get any bang for your buck, pun intended? So the numbers are in from Connecticut. Now, Connecticut's a rather small state. They have an estimated 500,000 AR rifles or sporting rifles, as we like to call them, AK variants as well. And they, through their gubernatorial laws that were passed, had to have them registered by the end of the year. Well, numbers that came in, 50,000. 50,000 out of 500,000. That's a pretty small number. So either the government actually has absolutely no clue how many rifles are out there, or there's massive disobedience. I tend to think the latter. They had over 1 million estimated normal capacity magazines in Connecticut. 30,000 were registered. How you register something without a serial number, maker, date, I don't know, but, you know, at least 30,000 people showed up and handed something over. So, really what we're seeing is nobody cares. They'll just be a criminal because they don't care. So what are they going to do? Bust down 500,000 doors? Throw 500,000 people into jail for nothing other than being a law-abiding gun owner? I don't think so. So the word of the day for us is do not comply. We told that to people in San Francisco. We're telling it to people in Sunnyvale. And if anything passes here, we're telling you, as California gun owners, do not comply. So our next speaker up today is going to be Jonathan Zaciriau. He's around here somewhere. There he is. And he's got a few words, as we always like to hear.
Hello, everyone. Privilege for me to be standing here in front of you and sharing a little bit. I hope to encourage you over the next few minutes. You're not going to hear anything from me that you don't already believe. By the way, just in case, I don't know if it's going to address what you're hearing around the corner. It's Muhammad's birthday. So they're just commemorating that. I don't know. I just got here, so I'm just letting you know. Because just a second ago, it sounded really scary. But they're just celebrating. That's all that's going on. So scary in that I thought something bad was happening and we needed to go defend. But that's all right.
I'd like to be forced to hear that every day.
Yeah, well, that's another whole other story. It is good to live in a state and a country that is still free, but the reason we're gathered here and we keep gathering, and there's fatigue. I want to pause right here and address the fatigue. There's a fatigue in continuing to do this, and I commend you for continuing to come out and do this. Because if nothing else, just getting together and making sure that we're still, kind of tapping in and saying, hey, we're still on the same course. We're still going to understand that the Constitution trumps temporary law that is passing. And I call it temporary because these laws cannot stand constitutional contrast. They just can't stand. But the idea is going to be that if guns can be taken away or weaponry can be taken away, there'll be less resistance for implementing any agenda, anything, whatever. And that is the point of us getting together. We don't believe, as free citizens, that it's good for anyone for there to be limitations on Second Amendment rights. Now, I'm quite tired. I've had an incredibly long weekend, so I ask you to just forgive me if I don't pull it all together. But I'm asking God to help me right now so I can pull all this together. And I'm about to say something that possibly in a non-free country might get me in trouble, or very soon will get me in trouble. But I want to declare something to you. Those people, the people who meet in the building behind me, the building that you're facing, are systematically passing more and more laws that are making the law-abiding citizen illegal. Making the legal citizen illegal. For what we do, for what we choose to build, for how we do it. And it's really death by 1,000 or by 1,000,000 paper cuts. And that is why we feel that something is off. Something is off. Something is radically off. And you might say, how can there be such a big conspiracy? It really isn't a conspiracy. I want to offer to you a motive for why things are happening. We have people who've been in politics for so long and are so compromised. The word we keep using is corrupted, but they're compromised. And they are compromised to the point where they have done things that are illegal according to the laws that stand at this time. So what they want to do is change the laws so that their performance and what they do is no longer illegal. And as they move, they're not really thinking, they're not trying to take things away from other people. They're trying to cover their own sin. And that's what I'm calling it, sin. They cover their sin by creating new laws. They create new laws that create new trouble. There is no way that California needs 1,200 new laws a year. We do not need that. This is more than just us standing up for Second Amendment rights. We have to understand that what is going on in the building behind me and in many other capitals throughout the nation, not all of them, but some of them, is that we have corrupt leadership. We have leadership that is compromised. We have leadership that has been illegal in what it does. It is criminal in what it does. Money has exchanged hands where it should not be exchanged. Money has been in paper bags and passed across rooms. All the stuff that we see in movies that we think doesn't happen is happening. And that's why we have the craziness of our legislature in the last 10, 15, 20 years. Now, again, like I told you, today I probably won't be arrested, but soon there'll be a law telling me that I can't say this. We have people who slowly, slippery slope, they have gone 1 step, 2 steps, 10 steps, and have made wrong choices, but continue to remain in power. And as they remain in power, they pass laws. And they do not have a conspiracy against, if you will, the Second Amendment. They have a desire to cover their sins. And so what they do is they will send red herring legislation. They will create conflict between supposedly conservatives and liberals to keep us off balance so that we will not call what is going on in there what it is, which is criminal. There is something else we must resist as patriots. A patriot does not see a true political liberal as an enemy. A true political liberal, actually in our nation, was born out of biblical principles. Here's the biblical principle of a liberal politician, what it should be. A liberal politician says that a society that has a lot if it's affluent and it has been blessed by God, that it could become society's job to take care of those who are weaker and have need. But the basis for that is a biblical love, not an imposed artificial way of restructuring society. It was never intended. The liberal politician a few years ago never intended to take society and create a political or a social slavery of any kind, of a taxpayer against something else. It was never about balancing. It was never about balancing the inequality in society about people who have more money or less money. It was about showing benevolence. It was about showing character. It was about showing and understanding that, again, the liberal cause, what it used to be, is that there should be education for all. That's a great thing. I agree with it. So